The Human Disease Ontology Project presents, How is the Human Disease Ontology Fair? The human disease ontology strives to be fair. What do we mean by fair? FAIR stands for Findable, Accessible, Interoperable, Reusable. The acronym FAIR was first coined in 2014 as the result of a workshop to overcome the obstacles of data discovery and reuse. Formalization of these principles came in 2016 when Wilkinson et al. Proposed the FAIR Guiding Principles for Scientific Data Management and Stewardship of Digital Assets. The goal of FAIR was to set guidelines to increase the reusability of data. Subsequent development has focused on FAIR metrics, a toolbox, and a 2019 publication focused on evaluating FAIR maturity. The FAIR Guiding Principles emphasize the ability for both machines and humans to easily find and reuse data. Let's discuss each of these guiding principles and their applicability to the human disease ontology. To be findable or discoverable, data sets should be described, identified, and registered or indexed in a clear and unequivocal manner. Furthermore, data and supplementary material should have sufficiently rich metadata and unique and persistent identifiers. The human disease ontology meets these challenges. The ontology has a unique and persistent name and identifier, these being Human Disease Ontology and DOID. The ontology has defined disease terms, which describe how the disease is characterized. Furthermore, the human disease ontology is described, registered, and vetted by the Open Biological and Biomedical Ontology Foundry, or OBO Foundry. The OBO Foundry is a collective of ontology developers who are committed to collaboration and adherence to shared principles. As demonstrated on the OBO Foundry's Human Disease Ontology webpage, the ontology has rich metadata. Datasets should be accessible through a clearly defined access procedure that is open and free, and ideally capable of using automated means. Metadata should remain accessible and retrievable using a unique identifier. Metadata and data should be understandable to both humans and machines. And finally, data should be deposited in a trusted repository. The human disease ontology meets these challenges. Data within the ontology are understandable by both humans and machines. For human consumption, the content uses proper nouns, sentences, and text definitions, and the ontology may be viewed using a web browser or software like Protégé. Machines use the OBO and OWL representation of the ontology and the logical definitions or axioms contained therein. The ontology is readily accessible through regular releases to BioPortal, GitHub, the OBO Foundry, the Ontology Lookup Service, and the Human Disease Ontology website. The data within the ontology is accessible through ontology viewers like Protégé or OBOEdit, and information can be obtained with SPARQL queries. To be interoperable, that is, having the ability to exchange and make use of information, data and metadata need to be conceptualized, expressed, and structured using common published standards. Metadata must use a formal, accessible, shared, and broadly applicable language for knowledge representation. That is to say, it should use vocabularies that follow FAIR principles. The human disease ontology meets these challenges. Both data and metadata follow the strict guidelines outlined by the OBO Foundry, whose mission it is to develop a family of interoperable ontologies that are both logically well-formed and scientifically accurate. Data and metadata are in OWL, OBO, and JSON formats that are formal and broadly applicable languages for knowledge representation. To be reusable, characteristics of the data and their provenance need to be described in detail according to domain-relevant community standards, with clear and accessible conditions for use. The human disease ontology meets these challenges. The data are fully compliant with the OBO Foundry. Additionally, the data and collections have clear usage license and provide accurate information on provenance. The human disease ontology has a Creative Commons Zero license, which means that all copyright and similar rights have been relinquished and dedicated to the public domain. Provenance can be thought of as a record of ownership. The human disease ontology provides source information for each definition and cross-references to clinical vocabularies. Furthermore, the evidence and conclusion ontology is used to annotate each source type. Hopefully, you found our description of how the human disease ontology meets the FAIR Guiding Principles helpful. If so, please like and subscribe. This video was brought to you by Lynn Schrimmel and the Human Disease Ontology Project. Funding for this project is provided by the National Institutes of Health, National Human Genome Research Institute. Grant number U41 HG 008-735-01A1.